Gilbert and George, very, very nice to be here. I haven't spoken to you for a long time. I'm very mindful of the fact that you're busy, so thank you for taking time to speak to me.
You're very kind.
I would like to ask you, I suppose the most pressing thing is to discuss your foundation. If you could maybe explain what this is and how it came about.
The Gilbert and George Centre, which is just around the corner from us, off the famous Brick Lane, the main street of Spitalfields really, in a little cobbled street called Heneage Street, and a little old building which has been a brewery once and a studio. It's very, very quaint and has a beautiful courtyard, and it has 3 main galleries which will enable us to live forever.
And is this in some way a reaction to or against museums?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think they are what you call, they feel that something else is always more important.
Right.
So, and they really believe that they're all involved in what you call work art or different kind of art. And we realize that if you go there, you will never see a picture up.
Mm.
They have 23 pictures. They never see one up. So
Yeah.
we realize if you want to be part of, if you want to do art and to be seen, you have to do your own foundation. There are many foundations, like you have the Miro Foundation, like Henry Moore Foundation, Barbara Hepworth's Foundation. So that's why we feel the only way to see what you call intensity or the vision of the artist is with one foundation.
Mm. And I guess that's also to do with museum schedules against the idea of how prolific you are as artists. I guess the turnaround is never going to be quick enough for you, is it?
I think it's even simpler. It means London has this huge population. It's the greatest city in the world. Every day there are people from all over the world in London, and they can come from Venezuela or Wolverhampton. There'll be somewhere in London where they can see our art.
Right. Yeah.
They'll always know that. It's very good.
Yeah.
And we will open the centre with an exhibition of which ones are we doing now?
Paradisical
The
picture.
paradisical pictures, because everyone believes that paradise is the sort of after party. So we will launch the Gilbert and George Centre with a sort of pre-cum party, you could say. So we're very excited, very excited.
And we have the pictures, after all. I think we have roughly 500 pictures that belong to us.
Really?
Yes.
You've kept over the years. Have you
Yes.
selected those ones, or they?
No, the
we have
leftovers.
the pictures that nobody wanted.
Right. Okay.
We have the largest collection of unpleasant pictures.
I was trying to be delicate by asking that. Yeah. So it's the ones you couldn't sell. I have a few of those as well. I actually have one of your pictures in my. I have a small.
We know
picture
that.
in
I know
my-
even the title is hard to know. What the name to do with the eye? Yes.
Yes. and
Acola.
Intercrural Love as well. I have that.
Intercrural love, very
Beautiful
good.
one, yeah,
Fantastic
very nice.
picture.
It's pride of place. So will you show new work in this space? Or
We
will
could if
you-
we wanted to. It's all a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
experiment. We'll see how we go
Yeah,
as we
yeah.
go along.
Yeah.
We'll find our own way. We don't want to make a lot of rules or ideas to
Yeah,
start with.
of course.
We
I
want to
think
be
the
very
idea is
open.
to have 2 shows a year, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, 6
Okay.
months, and yes.
Will you invite other artists to show?
No, I think that would be something completely different. Then
Right.
I think we would run out of money immediately to do other people's
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
Even because I think that if they want to come to a G&G Foundation, they want to see our art.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other? You've got the show coming up in New Zealand.
Very soon in New Zealand, yes. We just did the London, Paris and New York with the New Normal pictures.
Right.
We did the show in the museum in Frankfurt. We did a beautiful show of 13 earthly pictures in Knokke in Belgium.
Right.
So during this terrible, tragic, deathly time,
Mm.
we've had a lot of exhibitions. It's quite extraordinary.
Mm.
Yes, we like to do exhibition. I feel as an artist, that's all of what we would like to do. I think we did roughly 100 museum shows.
In total.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were working during the pandemic.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I can't imagine you stopping, but
We were, yeah.
Yes, we did what they call.
We didn't call it working, but I know what you mean.
yes, creating, producing. What would you call it?
Creating. Yeah.
Creating. Yeah. Can I ask you a question about? I'm kind of interested in the idea of certainly from the point of view of working in a collaboration or having worked in a collaboration, the idea of whether a work of art made by two people can be as truthful as one made by one person. Is it possible for a work of art to be truthful if it's made by two people?
Well, we don't believe we are two people. We are two people, but one artist.
Right.
That's and we never think of our art as a collaboration.
Right.
And whenever we're invited to exhibit in exhibitions of collaborative artists, we never agree.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not how we feel it to be.
It is like a composition. Our art is a composition with two people in one art. That's make one art, one painting.
We believe in the creative idea that it's a little like we always explain to young people. It's a little like when you're attracted romantically or sexually to another person, everything in life seems slightly better.
Right.
You're more elevated, more colourful, more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're creating in the studio, that's what it's like. We're different people.
Yeah.
It's a magic.
Yeah.
But the composition became very important. The composition of the art, we call it the total artwork is our life now.
Yeah.
And the composition is us.
Mm.
So that's it. We are what you call experience our combined life as an artwork.
Right.
We know and believe in the power of culture because many years ago realised that we want to be safe and we want to be free. And there are very few parts of the world where we are safe and free. Europe, North America, Australasia, a few little other outposts, all the other places you're not safe or free. You're not safe or free in China, not in Russia, not in Latin America. You're either in the grips of dictators or priests. And we feel very privileged that we're part of the process of creating culture makes us safe and free. As long as you have culture, that works. It's never the church, it's never the state.
Right.
It's always the culture. You need books and poems and paintings and sculptures and theatre and ballet and opera. And then you are safe and free, and we're part of that. We feel an enormous gratitude every day to the people who paved the way for us, and we want to continue to advance that cause.
There is something of a paradox in this, though. I mean, considering that you were here in 1967?
64, George.
64. But the idea of how this area has changed is kind of an indictment of a kind of a popular interest in art, which is also synonymous with a kind of a gentrification of the world globally, in a way. So how do you? I mean, and I guess I'm saying this because I think it's probably popular, on a common knowledge at least, that you have a certain kind of contempt for the idea of the art world being a kind of a bourgeois, elitist sort of.
No, I wouldn't say that.
But isn't it that the elitism has expanded?
We just explained that it rescued the world.
Yes.
It's the great Western Christian triumph.
Yeah.
We should be celebrating.
I mean, for us it was very exciting because we came here and it was totally derelict, ready to be demolished. They all wanted it demolished. Yeah. And we were the first one to restore one of these fantastic 18th century houses. And after that, it's magic around here. It's fantastic. Yeah. That's what we feel. And who comes in or out, it doesn't mean a thing to us. They are humans. They're all human beings.
Yeah. Even the idea of gentrification is an awful idea. Eh?
Yeah.
No one ever says ladyfication.
No.
It's a nonsense. total nonsense.
But I guess, okay, I mean, the idea of being able to buy a skinny latte, macchiato, whatever it is, decaf coffee, is an indictment of the change of this area.
No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. Okay, we don't do that, but if other people want to do it, that's up to them. We only have instant coffee ourselves.
Yes.
We're great snobs, but not in that way.
Yes, reverse snobs. But I suppose I'm kind of asking a political question, I guess, really. You know, that and it's kind
it doesn't matter.
It's very simple. We believe as artists that everything we create has to be past, present and future. It has to be a great role of those three things. Yeah. And this area is like that. When we step out of our front door, we're stepping out onto a French street, which was Yiddish speaking when we were students. Mm-hmm. We're 10 minutes walk from the tomb of William Blake. Mm-hmm. We can walk across the road from that to the man who founded the Quakers, to the man who founded Methodism. Everything is all past, present and future. We want to be part of that when we create our art in the studio.
And not only that, Liverpool Street Station.
Yeah. That's
for us the center of the world.
But isn't it that you, as outsiders, you probably, I mean, maybe I'm kind of guessing that your decision to move to a place that was kind of, you know, in a sense not middle class, not
cheap.
No,
cheap.
It was the only place we could afford. It was £12 a month for any floor of any building in this street.
Yeah.
Basement or attic, didn't matter. £12, and we could just about afford that.
But how do you feel? I mean, how do you feel as outsiders now that I think, as you mentioned, there's 20,000 artists, as if somehow they've kind of coagulated around you. They've gravitated towards you. You are the attractor for artists. I mean, we all kind of moved in because you lived around here. So
I think that is all fantastic.
That can't be a good thing for you.
What's wrong with that?
Because I'm kind of guessing that when you...
The world needs more artists.
And I mean, it doesn't matter how many there are, because in the evening we take our bus to our place where we eat, and they're all fantastic people. We like human beings. Okay, we don't want to have big discussion about the world every time we see a person, but in general we accept everything.
But you have to take the bus now because you have to go further afield to get to food, and I guess
we always did that.
We take the first bus or the first taxi that comes.
But isn't that to do with having to get out of this area because it's so?
No, because we
always did that.
Right.
We want to leave the studio in the evening. 3 times a day we leave it, because we don't cook, we only drink instant coffee or water. So in the morning we go out for marmalade toast, we walk 20 minutes.
Yep.
Lunchtime we have to walk to we used to go to Furnace Street, our market cafe, for 20 years or something. Now we have to go to another one. We have a little lunch there, and then in the evening we like to go out. Yes. We take a bus to Stoke Newington, and that's our life. And we love people.
Yes.
So,
I suppose I'm trying to tease out something which I think you can refuse to kind of even acknowledge, which I guess is right. But the sense in which when you discuss your work as compared to, you've said, stupid abstract artists and stuff, you know, you kind of, you're very playful, but you kind of, you do sort of express a certain kind of disdain for artists in general, you know.
Cave painters.
They
all become cave painters these days. We like our way of making art because it's through the computer. It's modern, and we invented it for ourselves. No, that's it. And everybody can do whatever they want. We never want to see other people's art. We never did that. We stopped going to the museums in 1979. After that, we never went to a private gallery or a museum in the world, because we don't want to be we only want to feel.
Don't want to be contaminated.
Yes.
But we're not against anything either. No. We prefer to think every day of things that we can be for and develop that.
Yeah.
No, we're not negative. We're not the critical contemporary artist who's against authority or against the police or the army or the American president or the Conservative Party. We're not busy with that nonsense here.
But isn't that a kind of an ambiguity that you play on? You know, the sort of the idea of you know, dressing as gentlemen and then being naked in a picture. There's these kind of oppositions which play around with expectations.
No playing.
Well,
no
okay.
Playing. Art is a serious business for us.
Yes. What am I trying to say?
It's our vision. We want to speak to the world, no? That's it. Okay, we
want to get away with it.
We have suits like every business person has, except the artist. They all have blue jeans.
Yeah. I'm not kind of, you know, I'm not in any sense questioning your dress sense. I suppose
it's very good because we started out in 1968. You know, we wanted to be artists, and we have this competition of 2 people, and that's where we put our what do we used to call
the
this?
Responsibility suits of our art.
Responsibility suits of our art. That's very exciting. That's an invention for us. An invention.
I suppose that I'm kind of thinking, you know, was it Baudelaire walking along Champs-Élysées with a?
I like Baudelaire.
With a lobster on a lead, you know, in order to kind of.
He's a kind of.
That's a sort of eccentric thing we're not interested in.
No, I understand that would be horrifically
we want
French
to be normal.
and awful. Yes,
I always want to be normal. But we never wanted to dress in a way that would alienate half of society.
But I'm suggesting there's
I mean, we like
Baudelaire.
Baudelaire.
For suggesting there's a similarity in terms of the idea of demonstrating some kind of different pace of life, which I guess what Baudelaire is doing is to show that he is operating, he's kind of moving in a different sort of stream of momentum as opposed to the speeding up modernity of Paris.
But
I guess
every art is doing that.
Yeah,
Don't
but I
you
guess
think?
I'm kind of saying that it seems to me, looking at your work historically and now, is there's a sense in which how you have acted is as a kind of almost purposeful reactionary kind of move against
Never
ideas of
reactionary.
utopian
We're
progressiveness.
just proudly lower class, ambitious people. It's very simple. We want to get on in life.
Yes.
No,
And,
but
we have a following, and we want to develop that.
and
Every day we get letters from people from all over the world, and we love that. Yeah.
But I reckon, like 20 years ago, if I said to you you'd be making digital art, I mean, I wouldn't be able to guess that. But if someone would be stupid enough to say that to you, you would have laughed them out of the room.
no,
The opposite story is very interesting. Long before we took to the computers, young people were coming to openings of our exhibitions saying, "Which computer are you using? Which computer are you on?" When we weren't.
But isn't it?
I mean, we used the technologies that was available in 1970. No?
Yeah.
And art, it run out of steam in every single way. And then we moved over to the computer.
Seamless, in fact.
Extraordinary is that we were able to take it in a very fast way.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
But I think there's something, I mean, I'm pressing you on this again, but there's the Hamlet thing, time is out of joint. And I think that with each kind of paradigm shift in your work, like for example the charcoal sculptures, the living sculptures, they're always out sync with the preferred mode of artistic creation of its time.
I think the artists always do.
We're extremely conventional. We do rectangular pictures, and artists did.
Yeah.
Every national
Yeah.
gallery in the world is filled with rectangular pictures.
But
We're dealing with the same subjects as every museum is.
Yeah.
We're dealing with death.
Yeah, but but making kind of big naturalistic paintings of you in the nature when everyone else is making kind of semi-conceptual art. It was kind of I can't.
It was all based on the living
of the
sculpture.
work.
It's based on the living sculpture, us being the center of our art.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So us walking in the jungle or us out in the in the bushes, it's all part of the living sculpture. And that I think is the center of everything that we do. Everything is what they call the vision, our vision of our world for ourselves and for other people.
Yes.
It's a journey through life like everyone has.
Yeah.
If
But
a person's a teenager looking at our pictures,
Yeah.
it will be different for a 45-year-old.
Yeah.
But we are not going outside and painting what they call.
So it's kind of like artistic
painting.
psychosis. It's like living completely in being.
Yes.
Being living sculptures, our lifeblood, our destiny, our tombstones. We always said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
100 years ago we said that.
An extraordinary invention to make ourselves the center of the art in 1968 or something like that.
Yeah.
And after that, all the subject is part of it. No?
Yeah.
We don't have to look for inspiration because our life is it.
I'm tempted. I mean, how? Okay, so that's a huge shift. That kind of thinking to become the work, but not the work as a.
Every
visual.
artist was, yes.
Yeah.
All the Rembrandt paintings are just him.
Yeah.
Michael Solomon said he painted with shit, every painting. Yeah.
Yeah. But most of these
If you go on the streets of any city in the world and say to a complete stranger, Charles Dickens, whether they read a book or not, something will come into their head. That's the culture of that man.
But all the artists and writers that you refer to are highly individualistic artists that are predominantly expressive and confessional.
Yes.
And flowing with kind of like expressive sort of ego. Your work, even when you discuss if you're tempted to discuss the kind of the essential meaning of the work or the content, you'll say happy, sad, unhappy. You suggest this notion of being kind of expressive, but your expressions are kind of almost ambivalent in terms of they're not like, you don't go to a Gilbert and George show and see crazy art that makes you think, wow, this is them confessing their inner being. So you're kind of offering the idea of your thoughts, but they're very staged in a way. They're not like Van Gogh eating paint and cutting his ear off.
We didn't do that, yes.
We're
Yeah,
the
what
most
about that?
Do that.
we're the most disturbed people we know, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
I think it's quite interesting for us, the art that we do, because everybody who go to our shows, and a lot of young people who maybe never saw art, all they see themselves in it.
Yeah.
They see a reflection of themselves in our work, and that is extraordinary.
Yeah.
They see themselves in it,
Yeah.
because we are all the same.
Yeah.
We are not different than the ordinary person in the street. That's why they are able to read them in a way.
Yeah.
They read them, everybody reads in a different way, but they always did that in art. No, everybody has a different view about the same artwork.
Yeah.
That's why we started with the idea of art for all.
Yeah.
To make an art which could address anyone wherever they lived in the world, whatever their background or climate, could still speak to people.
That's why all the big retrospective that we did, we have a public. We have an amazing public. A lot of artists do a kind of, they do an art for the art world only in some way.
Yeah.
It's stuck to the art world or the collectors, and we never did that. We want to be outsider, and we all want to express the vision of life. No? That's what is interesting for our visual art, the living sculpture.
Like everything, our art is very complicated and very simple at the same time. There's always that combination. Every great book is that. Every great piece of music is simple and complicated at the same time.
Yeah.
So far, so good. We're in our 50th years of creating pictures.
That's good.
We're about to create the corpsing pictures, which we're very excited by.
Do you want to talk about those? Can you talk about those?
The corpsing pictures, and we will see.
Okay.
We will see.
Yeah.
They are very interesting because for the first time you can see the soles of our feet.
Yeah. Is that the first time?
The first time.
In that way, yeah.
And you talk.
We can give you some clues. The pictures include the titles Trumpets, Chains, Boneland, Red Chains, Stripes, Hark, Class A, Cherry Bones, and Chainage. A mini preview.
I heard that with your bodily fluids pictures, someone asked you what the tears were, how you came about. They said something about actors knowing how to cry, and they asked you how you did it, and you said you read poetry and cried.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. I mean, that's when we met you, I think, in 93 or 94.
Yes.